ready. Just run our regular motion stuff. We're all right, guys. We got it. Right?
Look for the low pick for Marson and a good pick coming up here. And if you got him, take him.
They may do something a little different on offense now. They may do something a little different on defense. You get him guard you, take him every time. Make him guard you. Make some contact. Come on. Go. Play some B now.
The following Meyer Television Sports Exclusive is brought to you in part by your Community Norwest Bank, your local Cenex and Land O'Lakes Cooperative, Northland Ford Dealers, Grinnell Mutual Insurance, your local Perkins Family Restaurant and Bakery, and your West Dakota Chevy dealer. Live from the Fargo Dome, it's the 1994 North Dakota State Class A Boys Basketball Tournament.
The Fargo Dome is the site. The game is basketball. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to live coverage of the 1994 State A Boys Basketball Tournament. Welcome back to the Fargo Dome. I'm Dan Hammer along with Ed Kendall. Semi-final night at the State A. 4 teams remaining in the hunt for the trophied state championship. And Ed, the theme from yesterday's first round was defense, defense.
Yeah, there's no question about that. We had a game that was 21-14 at the half, 21-16 at the half. And when you get to the tournament, you talk to any coach, the teams get a little more deliberate. They slow it down. Every possession means more, and the scores just come zooming right down.
The winners of yesterday's 4 games had an average score of 48 points. The losers had an average score of 39 points. That gives you an idea of how defensive-oriented yesterday's first round was.
Yeah, it certainly was. I think tonight, though, the second night, the teams will come out a little looser, and I think you might see a few more points tonight, maybe some more easy baskets as well. Tonight at 6:30, just minutes away, Bismarck High will take on Fargo North. Our other semifinal at about 8:15, Mandan High will take on the Century High Patriots.
Bismarck and Fargo North, a couple of teams that mirror each other in a number of different ways. And to fill us in on that a little more, Brett Garland and John Hagery. How you doing, guys?
Pretty good. We're expecting a little more offense tonight, too. No 100-point games by any means, but we would sure like to see some more points on the board. For Fargo North, their three-pointers were real successful for them last night. Bismarck High knows they've got to keep a hand in the face of Fargo North.
Yeah, but they also know that North does not live and die by the three-pointers. They got 3 in a row that helped them, but they also scored 22 points on the inside, and their coaches feel if they get at least 20 points on the inside, they got a real good chance to win.
Hopefully some lights will go out on the scoreboard because it's being used so much tonight, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, right.
Well, okay, thanks, guys. Some players to look forward tonight for Bismarck High. Dan Murray, he's a senior, top scorer for Bismarck, great shooter, 55% from the field. And remember, he is not just a guy inside. He steps outside, will shoot the 3. Shannon Peterson kind of makes everything happen for the Demons. Both have been playing very well down the stretch of the season heading into this tournament here.
Offensively, Fargo North led by the big 3. Chris Osborne, Chris Clement, and Dane Heinze. Between the 3 of them, they've attempted 63% of the team's entire field goals. The Spartans are led by Osborne, 14 a game. Heinze, a junior, at 12 points a game. But as we saw yesterday, North, if they don't get it at the perimeter, doesn't mean that they're not going to be in the ball game. I thought they showed some real patience yesterday and got some points out of Nate Mayhew, who were real key in their win.
And when you talk patience, you have to really focus in on Chris Osborne, because here's a guy who leads the team in scoring. He comes in, and Minot does a pretty good job of taking his game away from him, but he's very patient, didn't shoot hardly at all in the first half, and just took his opportunities in the second half, and he ended up getting one of those big 3-pointers in that key 9-0 stretch by North that ultimately led them to their quarterfinal victory over the Magicians.
Bismarck comes into the game 19 wins and 4 losses. The WDA champions, Fargo North, finished runner-up in the regular season and EDC tournament. The Spartans come into this game with 14 wins in 9 losses. And we touched on defense already. How about the job that Bismarck High did yesterday on Grand Forks Central's Josh Hansen, limiting him to 5 points in just 2 of 9 of the field. But Ed, he wasn't the only All-Stater that was shut down yesterday. There were a number of them.
Yeah, you better believe that. Brian Manson from Minot High scored nowhere near his average. We talked about Chris Osborne.
Kyle McKinnon didn't have a field goal last night.
Kyle McKinnon from West Fargo. Even a guy like Joe Bearstail from Bismarck High. He does a lot of things for the Demons, but averages about 12 points a game, and Joe only had a couple of points last night, and that's one thing the Demons will look for tonight, is getting him more involved as well.
And let's honor our country and have the introduction of tonight's players.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise, remove your cap or hat, and place your right hand over your heart, and stand at attention as the colors are presented by the North Dakota 41st Air Force Junior ROTC Squadron, commanded by Cadet First Lieutenant George Orell, as our national anthem is being sung by members of the Fargo North Concert Choir. Please remain standing until the colors have left the floor. Thank you.
That's it.
Forward.
Guard. Hold. Freeze in. Hold.
Selection's important. Let's make sure we got guys on the boards now. Get on the boards, Joe.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Fargo Dome for the semifinals of the 1994 State Class A Boys Basketball Tournament, sponsored by the North Dakota High School Activities Association. The first game tonight features the Fargo North Spartans and the Bismarck Demons. Here are your starting lineups. Starting at one guard for Fargo North, a 6-foot junior, number 21, Dane Heinze. For Bismarck, a 6-foot senior, number 10, Darren Johnson. For the Spartans, a 6-foot junior, number 22, Chris Clement. For Bismarck, a 6-foot senior, number 34, Kevin Feeney. For Fargo North, a 6-foot senior, number 31, Chris Osborne. For the Demons, a 6'2 senior, number 22, Dan Murray. For the Spartans, a 6'5 junior, number 42, Nate Mayhew. For Bismarck, a 6'1 senior, number 32, Shannon Peterson. And for the Spartans, a 6'6 senior, number 44, Brian Christopherson. For the Demons from Bismarck, a 6'1 junior, number 50, Joe Bearstail. The head coaches for tonight's game, Fargo North, Ray Callahan, Bismarck, Steve Miller.
Bismarck and Fargo North, one will play for the big prize tomorrow night. We'll have the tip-off for you right after this. The Fargo Dome, hosting its first ever state high school basketball tournament. The Prep Bowl was the first state high school tournament to be held here, and the officials for tonight's game, Kim Anderson of Dickinson on your left and Ray Jones of Thompson on your right. Joe Bearstail and Brian Christopherson tip it off, and the Spartans have the first possession of the game. Chris Clement runs the show out on top for Ray Callahan's team. Watched closely there by Darren Johnson, number 10. North likes to get it inside to its post people and then have them try to dish it back out on the wings for their three-point opportunities.
And Dan, we should point out Darren Johnson starting tonight for Scott Oswald, who started last night. No surprise for Steve Miller, likes to use a lot of different kids. Just thought the matchup was a little better with Johnson in there.
Feeney blocked Osborne's three-point attempt, but Osborne did a nice job to follow it back and got the put back. There's Johnson, quickly goes to the baseline. And a whistle underneath and a charging foul on Darren Johnson. Johnson, a 6-foot senior. He was in the starting lineup this year until he hurt his ankle up in Minot, and then after that, Scott Oswald moved into the starting lineup, but
and you see right there what Johnson brings to the team. He's got some good quickness, a little more of a scorer than maybe Scott Oswald, who's more of a guy to get down underneath in the paint, mix things up, grab some rebounds.
Heinze goes to the baseline, cut off there by a double team. One of the key matchups we'll watch is Kevin Feeney, the defensive specialist for the Demons. He got a hand in there as Osborne drove to the lane, and it's tied up. Possession arrow to Bismarck, but credit that play to Feeney. And I think he's been the most improved player as the season has gone on for Bismarck High because of the fact that he had to recover from a major knee injury that he suffered during the football season. But as he improved defensively, Bismarck High improved.
And Kevin's the kind of kid that won't score a lot, but he'll do those kind of things. He's a very physical type player. He'll get on a point guard or a guard and wear that guard out throughout the course of a ball game.
Bearstail's pass was batted out of bounds by Dane Heinze, and Joe Bearstail had a fairly quiet day offensively yesterday, 2 points, but he chipped in other parts of the game. 5 rebounds, 4 assists.
And those are the kind of things Bearstail does as well. He doesn't have to score to be a big factor. He's a great passer. You talk to any of the opposing coaches, and he's just very, very smooth at that part of his game. He's a good defensive player. And we touched on the Demons definitely looking to get him more involved offensively tonight.
Peterson flashed down low. Now, Dane Heinze draws the defensive assignment on Peterson, who is left all alone here and hits the shot. A 3-point field. Physically, that's a real favorable matchup for Bismarck High because you look at Shannon Peterson, a very physical player, and Dane Heinze, who is not one. So I think Bismarck High wants to try to create some things for Shannon Peterson tonight.
And Peterson, being a physical player, is also a very quick player.
Christopherson, turnaround, that rolls off, and Bear's Tail rips it down. Long court pass is tipped around, and finally Johnson has it, and it went off his hand.
Now see, this is interesting. Yesterday, we saw the Demons struggle in the first half. They came out in the second half of their opening game with Central and did that kind of thing, sending a man deep. Now tonight they're doing it early. Obviously they want to stretch the defense and let North know right away, get them thinking what they're going to be doing.
Clement working at the point, gets a pick from Mayhews, drives, puts up a one-hander that rolls off, and Peterson rips down the rebound, has Johnson ahead. He goes to the hole. Oh, it almost went in. That would have been acrobatic. Clement now quickly feeds inside to Mayhews, and he missed the easy attempt. So Nate Mayhews, who didn't miss many times yesterday, here's Feeney back the other way. And both these teams running the floor well here, Ed, in the opening 3 minutes of the game.
And we touched on that in our open that, hey, it's the second day now. These guys, they played a game on this floor. They played before this crowd. This is the state tournament. Maybe these guys are a little more relaxed, and the score wouldn't indicate it yet, only 3-2, but they're certainly getting up and down more than yesterday.
Here's Chris Osborne, the leading scorer for North, a senior. And a foul will go against Nate Mayhews as he was trying to set up a pick there on Feeney. Nate Mayhews picked up the slack yesterday when Minot completely shut off that Fargo North perimeter game. Mayhews responded with 13 points.
We talked about the Demons switching up. 3 minutes into the game, Darren Johnson has taken a seat already, and Scott Oswald checks in for him.
Here's Murray. Gets inside the paint, lays one up, it won't go off, follows his own shot nicely. That won't roll in, and gosh, we've seen a number of attempts like that just almost sit up there, suspended on the rim.
The Demons have had some great chances, just kind of like yesterday. They're just not hitting their shots early in the ball game.
Bismarck beat Grand Forks Central 54-46 in yesterday's opening round, and North rallied to beat Minot 50-45 thanks to 3 consecutive threes in the fourth quarter. Wiped out a 6-point deficit. Traveling call there. A couple of early turnovers by North after the Spartans had played almost flawless in that category yesterday.
And that's something the Bismarck coaching staff talked about, was putting a lot of pressure on North, especially off a timeout, off an inbound play, something of that nature.
Peterson, three-pointer! Shannon Peterson opens the game with a couple of threes, and Bismarck has a 6-2 lead.
I've watched Shannon play for about 3 years now, Dan, and I've always felt he can score more if he wants to, but he's such a team player. He does whatever it takes for the better of the team, and you see him tonight early taking that shot.
Feeney now defending Osborne. Bear's tail out on Clement, who drives to the paint, cut off. Now Christopherson. Here's Heinze moving to the baseline, off the glass, and score a couple for Dane Heinze. The 6-foot junior averages 12 a game. Quickly back come the Demons. Feeney, now Bear's tail, all alone, near wing. It wouldn't go. Peterson has the board. Dumped it inside, thought he had Murray, but actually Dane Heinze was there for the easy pick.
And Coach Callahan has got to like Heinze coming on right away, getting an easy bucket, because he struggled yesterday, shot just 1 of 9 from the field.
He's a guy that loves to sacrifice his body. We saw Dane Heinze all over the floor, I mean on the floor from time to time this season. Feeney right in Osborne's pocket. He's really playing him tough.
There's the key matchup we talked about, Osborne-Feeney.
Clement. Chris Clement has a three-pointer. So we've seen 3 threes here to begin the game. That one arcs high, and Osborne has the rebound. Osborne drives to the paint, has it knocked away by Murray. Here's Murray on the break. And he has the transition bucket off the steal.
Well, only fitting Danny Murray was the guy that knocked it away, picked it up, took it the length.
8-7 Bismarck High, 2:10 to play first quarter. We're going to have some wholesale substitutions. 3 subs will come in for each team as Osborne goes to work. Feeney fights through the pick.
Very quick moving first quarter, too.
Feeney, a real physical player, quarterback of the Demons, all-state quarterback who's going to North Dakota State to what he will hope someday run the option with the Bison. And it's a steal by Feeney. 2-on-2 now for the Demons. Feeney gives to Murray off the glass and it wouldn't go. And Christopherson will pick up the over-the-back foul, fighting for the rebound.
You know, the Demons have had 3 opportunities like this. They haven't converted on any of them, but you can see the good passing by Bismarck. All the passes on the break. That was a tough pass by Kevin Feeney between 2 defenders. You got to get it about built high so the guy can handle it.
The timeout on the court. Entertaining first quarter so far, and Bismarck leads North 8-7. Well, there are some ways that these two basketball teams mirror each other, and in one way is their depth. As we see it now, each team making 3 substitutions here late in the first quarter, giving their frontliners an added break as we head toward the quarter break.
And that's one of the similarities when you talk about these two teams, that they're not afraid to use their bench, and they both think their bench can be a difference in a game like this.
Bear's tail buries the 3.
We told you he can shoot. He was quiet yesterday.
And it's 11-7 Bismarck. Osborne watched there by Steve Fry, who's checked into the game, so Feeney gets a breather. Brian Wallner's also in the game. That shot is off. Lisney with the follow. It won't go. He tries again. He's fouled. He's saying, son of a gun, I should have converted one of those. Ryan Lisney, who has just checked into the game for the Spartans.
Pretty simple here. Dan Lisney just going to work on the offensive glass. Wallner picking up the foul for the Demons. And Coach Miller concedes the fact that North has a little more size than the Demons do. And he said, you know, Brian Wallner has to come off the bench tonight and give us some solid minutes to beat this team.
Lisney, a 6'2 junior. Didn't see any playing time yesterday, but he's in here early tonight, and his second free throw rolls off. Wallner was there for the rebound. Demons push it up quickly. Out on top, it's Steve Fry, the 5'11 senior. Osborne looks for the pick, can't get it. Fry now goes to the top of the arc. In the corner, Bear's tail. Down to 40 seconds to play in the quarter. And Steve Miller wants one shot out of his team, which leads 11-8. Thanks to 3 3-pointers, a couple of them by Shannon Peterson and one by that guy. Man in the top now for Bismarck, Joe Bearstail.
North, you see, just sitting back in that zone, waiting for the Demons to wind it down.
Foul away from the basketball. It will go against Bismarck. And it's going to go against Wallner. It comes with 11 seconds left. So North will get the last opportunity of the quarter. Clement drives down the lane, off the glass, and Chris Clement brings the Spartans within a point. Bear's tail, he's won the length of the court, but I had no chance. 1 quarter complete from the semifinals of the 94 State A. Bismarck 11, North 10. There's some real hoops heads, aren't there?
The Fargo North boys having some fun at the State A boys basketball tournament. Why not? Their team 1 win away from the championship.
Feeney checks back into the lineup for Bismarck High. 34 defending Clement. Bismarck looks to trap now. Clement dribbles through. Heinze in the near corner. Bismarck showing a different look defensively now to begin the second quarter. Marsden, his shot is partially blocked. And off the scramble underneath, Heinze is whistled for the foul. That's the second 3-point attempt that we've seen blocked at the point of release so far tonight.
And that's one thing Bismarck talked about was coming out and pressuring the North guards. They don't want those guys setting up shooting the three-pointers because we talked about that a lot yesterday, that the Spartans are a team that can strict very quickly from three-point land.
Here's Murray. Far baseline, kicking it back out. Murray, tough opportunity over Lisney, who played pretty good D that time and also got the rebound.
Yeah, Danny just forced that one a little bit.
Marsden dishes inside. Shambaugh has it. And North has the lead. 12-11. Feeney drives to the lane. Nice dish to Bear's tail, but there's a charging foul, I believe, on Feeney. It will be.
Oh, good defensive job there. Number 43, Lance Shambaugh, just stepped in and took the abuse.
Good anticipation, and North is getting some good inside defense right now to Lance Shambaugh and also Lisney, who checked into the game in the last minute and a half of the first quarter. Heinze left alone for a second. Clement eyes the hoop. Now Shambaugh, that's outside of his range. And Lance Shambaugh, by the way, I was told, can dunk. I said last night that nobody on this North team can dunk, and today they told me, you know what? Shambaugh can in fact dunk it. So one of the Spartans can dunk.
In a game.
That's right. Well,
practice and a game are two different things.
Clement kicked outside to Shambaugh. He was left open for the shot. Can't get it. Clement follows. That won't go either. North is doing a pretty good job on the offensive boards here early in this game.
Very active. Shambaugh leading the way so far early for North. Christopherson down there as well, keeping things alive.
Peterson quickly drives, kicks it back out. Now inside they go. That opportunity rolls off by Wallner, but he follows it. And speaking of the offensive boards, Wallner creates something there with good work down low.
Yeah, we talked about it just a couple minutes ago that Wallner does need to come in and put in some solid minutes, match up with guys like Shambaugh and Christopherson for North.
First personal foul on Lance Shambaugh, and Brian Wallner, the 6'2 junior, will go to the free throw line. You see Bear's Tail checking back into the Bismarck lineup. Wallner gets the first free throw. And he has the second. We're in the opening 2 minutes of the second quarter. You're watching continuing coverage of the 1994 Class A basketball tournament. Well, the numbers on the stat sheet are about as even as this game has been. 4 of 10 for both teams from the field. The rebound, 7-6 in favor of Bismarck. 5 turnovers each. Up and down, even Steven across the stat sheet.
And the score would certainly indicate that as well. 1-point ball game.
Marsden now feeds Heinze, and it went right through his hands as it was a possible 2-on-1 break there for the Spartans.
Now in that last time out, Coach Miller was talking about a set play for Shannon Peterson here. We didn't catch exactly what he was referring to, but look for Shannon Peterson this trip, number 32 for the Demons.
In the near corner is Peterson, watched by Mayhews. Now Heinze switches off.
Good job of picking Peterson up by Mayhews.
Heinze did a heck of a job yesterday on Brian Manson of Minot High, limiting him to well below his average. Feeney cross court. Johnson fires away. That will not go. Christopherson clears the rebound, nearly stolen away, and Bear's Tail has it. Christopherson just got a little bit sloppy with that pass after he had pulled down the rebound. Bismarck, cross court for Peterson, left alone after a collision in front of him, and he just nails it. Yeah. He saw the two men go down and said, I've got an open shot.
And that's something Bismarck talked about as well, was the ball reversal, the skip pass, getting it across the defense, just like that situation right there, throwing it over top, Peterson spotting up from way outside.
High arcer, and there's 3 3-pointers in the game for the 6'1 senior Shannon Peterson at 16-12 Bismarck. Near steal by Peterson, really anticipated that pass, and Bismarck will get it. It goes off Chad Marsden, says Ray Jones. But I think Chris Osborne kind of signaled that pass. He was looking over toward us.
Yeah, he telegraphed it, and Shannon is a good defensive player. You could see him just kind of sitting there hawking. He's just reading his eyes, waiting for him to make the pass.
Peterson's got the hot hands. You figure he wants another go, and Bismarck's been using that pass over that North defense well. Beautiful feed inside, and Joe Bearstail gives Bismarck a 6-point lead.
Once again, you see the great passing by Bismarck as Danny Murray finds the open man amongst the traffic.
Spartans break the pressure that Bismarck will apply from time to time tonight, especially off made baskets. Osborne has been quiet again to begin this game tonight, like last night. Heinze drives, has it batted away.
Bearstail, good job that trip on defense, getting in Heinze's face.
Feeney, and he picks up his second offensive foul in the same way as the first one, driving the middle of that lane. There's a break in play, 3:37 to go in the half. Bismarck leading North by 6. Steve Miller took over the head coaching job with Bismarck High in '91 in that season. Coach of the year after leading the Demons to the state title game before losing to West Fargo.
And on that timeout, Dan, Coach Miller was talking about being more active on defense in the zone. Just, hey, let's turn it up a little bit, be a little more intense here.
And look at how far they came out to pick up Chris Osborne, almost the half-court line, and they were trying to trap in that area. Osborne now directing traffic in the half court. The tournament has been tough on Chris Osborne, the leading scorer. Now Clement thought about it, has it nearly taken away. Gave it to Christopherson. Now Osborne on the far wing. Osborne looks inside to Mayhew. Beautiful setup by Osborne.
There again, you see the many talents of Osborne. He doesn't have to score. He's working with the ball. He's always getting attention. Great dish off inside.
Off the miss. Here comes Clement pushing it up the floor quickly. Heinze. Clement left alone. And he's got a three-pointer. And the Spartans claw their way back to within one after trailing by 6. Bearstail, I don't know if he lost sight of it for a second or what happened, but it goes out of bounds, and the Spartans will take over after the turnover.
I'm guessing Bearstail thought there was somebody behind him on the far side of the court because he kind of started to put his hands up and then just kind of pulled them back.
2 minutes to play in the half. Bismarck 18, North 17. Clement works on Johnson. Osborne driving off the dribble, throws up a shot that's no good, and Murray pulls away the rebound.
Bearstail, good help defense that time to kind of alter the shot of Osborne.
Finney drives the lane, kicks it to Bearstail. Now Johnson. Bearstail almost pulled the trigger. Cross court. Feeney left alone. He can't get it. It's a 2-on-3. Heinze, he'll probably take it. Oh, my, he converts. Beautiful ball control by Dane Heinze.
Beautiful is about the best way to sum up this play. Dan Heinze didn't have the numbers, but he said, what the heck, Shannon Peterson, I'm going right at you, try to stop me.
The Spartans have the lead at 19-18, and Heinze, as you see, averaging 12 a game, will try to convert the three-point play. And he does.
And when the defense is focusing on a guy like Osborne, North really needs Clement and Heinze to step it up and score their points. We talked about Heinze struggling a little bit yesterday in the opening game.
It's an 8-2 run for North, which trailed 18-12 at one point. Cross court again. Bismarck using that effectively. Mayhew steps in front of the pass and steals it.
Now, both coaches talk about defense, 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 defense. We're really seeing it here tonight. If you just watch real close, you're seeing some great individual defensive efforts by these teams.
Mayhews converts underneath, and he has a couple of buckets in this quarter, and suddenly the Spartans lead at 22-18. Under a minute to play in the half. Johnson looking at Bear's tail, now drives to the free throw line. Marsden turned him away there. Johnson left alone. Peterson really crashed the boards, and I think he'll pick up the foul, and he will.
Yeah, I think Shannon just went over somebody's back trying to get that, get the rebound, keep it alive. Check that. They give it to Danny Murray.
Okay. And that means that Fargo North will make the trip back down to this end of the court and go to the free throw line. The 7th team foul in Bismarck High, and it's Brian Christopherson, the 6'6 senior, one of the role players on Fargo North. His roles are to rebound and try to defend in the paint area. Not expected to score a lot, as most of the big men on this North team are expected to do. Feeney driving inside, kicks it back out. Now Peterson with 13 seconds left. Bismarck will try to convert the last shot of the half. Peterson on the dribble, goes inside, cannot get it to roll with 2 seconds left. Marsden will get a heave. Whoa, pretty good heave too. 16 minutes played in our first semifinal game at the 94 State A, and it's Fargo North 22 and Bismarck High 18.
Well, the Demons actually got a great look at the basket, Dan. The defense came out to pick up Peterson. We talked about how quick Peterson is. He made a couple nice moves, got to the bucket, but just couldn't finish it.
And let's go to Brett Garland, who's standing by with Ray Callahan. Brett?
All right, thanks, Dan. Ray, what a nice way to end the half. 7 straight. How big of a momentum builder is that for you?
Well, we were in a little trouble there when we were down 6, you know, and the kids came back, made a nice run. You know, it's been, when they get it going a little bit and get some transition baskets, you know, they get on a roll, and it's the same with us. When we get in half courts, both of us are playing such great defense. You know, it's going to be a low-scoring one, and you just got to be patient with the ball.
All right, Ray, thanks a lot. Good luck second half.
Very good, Brett, and the baby cam is out here tonight at the Fargo Dome. And we'll return with more coverage from the 94A on NBC. Looking at the Fargo Dome, we're at the half. Fargo North leading Bismarck 18, and for your entertainment, the Fargo North Spartacus.
In their state competition, these ladies placed first in the pom category, second in dance, and second overall in the state of North Dakota. Ladies and gentlemen, the Spartacus.
I'm not exactly in the mood for Mozart and all that kind of goings-on.
With a poison. Injected with a poison.
$50,000 watts of funkin' hip-hop power.
control, you know what I'm saying? I slam the door when I come into the bedroom. Cause I'm room and go, never ever let go. Get the soul out, you may hit him the crescendo. Don't really go, Latino.
We were cool.
The Fargo North Spartacus, and you're watching the 1994 State A Tournament. Welcome back to the Fargo Dome, where Ed Fargo North scored the final 10 points of that second quarter after trailing 18-12 at one point.
And a big story of that second quarter was North simply shot the ball a lot better than the Demons. North was 5 out of 9 in the quarter, getting their game percentage up near 50%, which is very good. And the Demons struggled from the floor. They were 2 of 9, and when you talk about that, Bismarck had some opportunities in that first half on some fast breaks, and they couldn't finish it. They got down there, a nice pass, maybe a 2-on-1, a 3-on-2, couldn't finish it, either just missed the bucket completely or got fouled and ended up going to the free throw line, missing the free throw or just getting 1 out of the 2.
Yeah, certainly they couldn't second-guess their opportunities because they were there, but as you said, finish was the key word that the Spartans didn't have in that first half. Let's go to John Hegre.
Thanks, Dan. Well, Steve, I know you didn't want to get out-rebounded, and you wanted to keep a hand in their face on the threes, and they're beating you in both those categories. I bet that's something you talked about at half.
Well, I thought we played pretty well at stretches in the first half, but I don't think we played as smart as we'd have liked to have. We built a nice 6-point lead there, and we came down and forced some things and didn't take our time and break down the defense, but that happens in high school sports, and that's got to get corrected this half.
So offensively, maybe a little more patience.
Well, I think we have to play a little bit more patience, and it's not so much of once coming down on our transition. We still want to do that, but I think the big thing is once we get into our half-court offense, is we've got to break it down a little bit and reverse the ball. We've just become so strong-sided that first half, and we have to correct that.
Okay, thanks a lot, Coach.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Okay, Dan, the numbers we just talked about, you see North there, 9 of 19, close to 50%. Free throw's not really a factor, but the Demons again struggling, 2 out of 9 in that quarter from the field. The rebounding, even. The turnovers, even. Not really much of a factor there. Bismarck was a little concerned about the Spartan size inside, but they've done a good job offsetting that.
Individually, Shannon Peterson, all 9 of his coming from three-pointers, 2 early in the game and then his 3rd in the second quarter. And even though Chris Osborne only has 2 at the half, being held in check again, the Spartans are finding other weapons. This time Chris Clement leading the way with 8, and Dane Heinze with 5, and Nate Mayhews with 4 for the Spartans.
And Clement with a couple of three-pointers. I think that was important to kind of loosen up the Bismarck defense a little bit. And we talked about if a defense concentrates on Osborne, a guy like Clement or Heinze has to step it up, and so far they've done a pretty good job combining for 13 points.
Fargo North, a team that uses multiple defenses, switching up frequently from time to time down the court, and one of the keys tonight, I think, for Bismarck High were their guards recognizing those switches in the defenses.
Yeah, that was a concern of Bismarck with the many different looks North will throw at you. Ray Callahan likes to do that on defense with his team, and Steve Miller needs his guards to recognize what's going on and make the correct decisions from there, get some easy scoring opportunities.
Murray, Johnson, Peterson, Feeney, and Bearstail on the court for Bismarck. Clement, Heinze, Mayhews, Christofferson, and Osborne start the play of the second half. The original starting lineups. Feeney thought about the 3. Now out on top, Johnson.
Big story from the first half, too, Dan. Dan Murray from the Demons held to just 2 points, 1 out of 5 shooting, and he is the leading scorer on the Demons, averaging 17 points a game.
And Kevin Feeney has picked up his 3rd offensive charge of the game.
We said he's a physical guy. I guess he's showing that tonight, that's for sure.
Clement out on top now for the Spartans. Here's Heinze. Peterson watching him. Heinze to Clement. And Clement, even though Feeney had a hand in his face, drained it.
You cannot get much tighter than Kevin Feeney was on that trip. Got a hand in his face.
Johnson's thrown to the hole, can't get it. Who'd it go off of? Christofferson, I believe, says Kim Anderson.
Once again, we talk about the Demons. Johnson with the nice drive, gets to the bucket, just cannot get it up and in for Bismarck.
Peterson thinks he sees the seam, then dishes it back out to Bearstail. And Mayhews got a hand on that pass and deflected it away. Thought Ray Callahan had a good point in that when each of these teams get in the half-court offense, it's difficult because both are playing so well defensively.
And we saw the Demons run it up a little bit in the first half, but Coach Miller talked to John Hegre about we have to be more patient, take our time maybe a little more on offense.
That's a three-pointer. Dan Murray, who had Brian Christopherson, a much taller player, in his face, took it up over him. Quickly back the other way. Heinze flying to the hole, and he scores. Count it, says Ray Jones.
Nothing fancy here. North just decided to release Heinze right away, beat the defense down the floor, got the bucket.
You know, we're seeing more of the true Dane Heinze tonight compared to last night. He's driving to the hole more. As I said, he likes to fly around and make things happen, and that's his second three-point conversion of the night.
He just looks more aggressive tonight, Dan. He's just not nearly as timid as he was last night.
27-21 is the North lead. That's the Spartans' biggest of the game. Osborne stepped in front of Bear's Tail, kicked away the pass. Now Feeney steals it back. Cross court for Johnson. Thought about it for a minute, then Clement came out defensively. Murray's been quiet tonight on the offensive end, hasn't he?
He's been very quiet. Again, we talked about first half, just 1 out of 5, and that's one thing with Dan Murray. He's been a very consistent scorer this year. Hasn't had many games where he hasn't been up in the double-digit, mid-double-digit area.
He missed the three-point attempt there. Mayhews took the rebound, and North with a 6-point advantage looks to add to it. Heinze shoots over Peterson. That shot is weak. Osborne and Feeney battled for it, and it went off Osborne. Opening 2 minutes of the third quarter. North leading Bismarck by 3 in the semifinals of the State A. Would you like to guess what's going through Steve Miller's mind about right now, Ed? What do you think he talked about?
Well, we caught him a little late coming out of the break there, but he took the guys off the bench, took them out on the floor this time. So I think Mr. Miller had a few choice words for his team and trying to get them fired up a little bit here in the third quarter. Bismarck has come out a little bit flat here in the second half.
Steve Miller takes a lot of intensity with his coaching style, and he wants his team to reflect that style when it's out on the court. It didn't play with a lot of intensity yesterday in the first half against Central. Bear's Tail now, a three-pointer! Joe Bear's Tail with his second 3 of the game. He's got 8 in the game. And Peterson pulls down the rebound. Now the Demons look to run the floor a little bit on the transition. Johnson goes inside, kicks it back out. Peterson, no. Osborne quickly back the other way. Oh my, sweet move by Chris Clement underneath.
Really seeing Chris Clement answer the bell tonight. He has played a great ball game for North.
12 in the game by Chris Clement. It's a 5-point advantage for the Spartans. Johnson moved to the baseline, cut off there by Clement. Now Murray outside. Bear's Tail, can he knock down another one? In and out. And Christopherson battles, and I mean battles for the board. Heinze now flies to the free throw line. Clement steps up. That shot is weak. Halfway point of the third quarter. North 29, Bismarck 24. Bear's Tail's getting a lot of good looks at the three-point land, isn't he?
Well, he's got Mayhews matching up with him, and he's taking him way outside.
Darren Johnson's 3 is a little strong, and Heinze is there.
I'm a little surprised how many threes Bismarck has been throwing up here. They're normally a very patient team, and that's something that Steve Miller talks about a lot. Make every single possession count, be patient, and get a good look. Now, those are good looks, but a lot of three-pointers.
Certainly haven't been shy about pulling the trigger. And that guy hasn't had the chance to pull the trigger much tonight again. Chris Osborne and North. Clement moves inside. Little pump fake over Bear's Tail, and it spins out, and Bear's Tail has the rebound. Sure looked like it was going to go in for a minute. Oh, Heinze flies up like a wide receiver to take away that pass.
Yeah, that's a heck of a play. He's got great coordination, went up for the ball and actually saw his man standing next to him, and you saw it. All in one motion, got it to him before going out of bounds.
Dane Heinze is really into this game tonight. You can see it on his face after struggling last night. He's wide open here. That shot rolls off weak, and Bears Tail has another rebound, and now the Demons want to push it ahead. To Feeney, great ball control. He almost got the bucket as he was fouled by Osborne on the play.
Once again, now Feeney's going to the free throw line, but the Demons can't finish a fast break. Tough shot in defense of Kevin Feeney. He was, that'd have been a heck of a shot to retain the body control and get that one up and in.
I wish we could have kept track to this point how many of those opportunities that the Demons haven't finished so far. We're not finished yet, not by a dream, and we'll be back with more State A basketball after this. Back at the Fargo Dome, where we play midway through the third quarter.
Dan, at that time out, the Bismarck High coaching staff was talking about setting up a play for Joe Bearstail. We saw Bearstail take a couple three-pointers, made one of them. So look for a Bearstail next time the Demons get the ball.
Kevin Feeney steps to the free throw line. Feeney has the first free throw. And he converts both ends. Feeney's first points of the game, but he's not called on to score on this basketball team. He's the team's defensive leader. Now Bismarck coming with some full court pressure. Shambaugh ahead to Lisney, who's checked into the game. Now Clement and Marsden. So the three substitutions that we saw early in the game by North back in. Marsden right off the bench throws up a shot, follows it, then tried to dish it inside, and it went off Bearstail.
Heads-up play by Marsden. Took the shot, did what a good shooter does. He stuck with it, saw the ball was going to be a little short, hustle came up with the loose ball.
Osborne to inbounds. Chris Osborne with just 2 points to this juncture of the game. Out defending him. Shambaugh working on Murray. Now Clement. Fargo North being pretty patient this trip down the court. Osborne driving on Oswald, dishes inside to Clement. I think he traveled, and he did.
Yeah, he did travel, but Chris Osborne once again, not scoring, but just a beautiful potential scoring opportunity that he's setting up with his court savvy.
We saw him set up Nate Mayhews for that key three-point conversion late in yesterday's game after he was really being pressured. So if he's not scoring, Chris Osborne is probably contributing in other areas. And now he works the North offense out on top. 1:30 to play, third quarter. North 29, Bismarck High 26. Shambaugh drives to the paint, over two defenders, can't get it to go, and Wallner was there for the rebound. Now Peterson, who's been pretty quiet, hasn't scored this third quarter yet after hitting 3 threes in the first half. Oswald on the near wing, eyes the basket, thought about it, but decided not to take the shot. Now gets around one man, drives to the baseline, and Shambaugh is whistled for the blocking foul.
And that's where Scott Oswald can be effective offensively. He's not really a shooter per se, but he's got a quick first step, and he's a physical kid as well, good football player. Made the quick move baseline, created the foul.
Murray left alone, looks weak, and it is. Scramble for the loose ball, and Peterson comes up with it. He heads right to the paint, and his shot is weak. And off the struggle underneath, Chad Marsden will be whistled for the foul. Bismarck struggling a little bit from the field here in the last couple of minutes.
Really a carryover from the second quarter for Bismarck High when they shot just 2 out of 9.
Here's Bearstail, cross-court Peterson trying to give him some kind of opportunity to score. He drives the baseline and he couldn't get it to go. Quickly back the other way is Osborne. 35 seconds to play, and North will settle for one shot at the end of the third quarter. Marsden out on top. Now Osborne. You see the clock. Clement will go to work now. Peterson defending him. Marsden, he drives to the lane, throws up a one-hander that was partially blocked, and that's the end of three quarters. Fargo North, which led 22-18 at the half, maintains its lead through three quarters. It's North 29, Bismarck 26. Back at the Fargo Dome, where the pace that we had to begin the game slowed up a little bit in that third quarter. And neither team shot particularly well.
Yeah, it's gone. There's no question about that. Both teams started out pretty loose, running it up and down a little bit, but you get into the third quarter, the fourth quarter, you can kind of see the end now coming up, and teams get a little more patient with their shot selection.
North trying to spread it out and draw Bismarck out of that defensive look they're setting at the Spartans now. Marsden up, Clement. 3 of 11 in the third quarter for Fargo North, and not much better for Bismarck High, as they were 2 of 11. And a push-off foul coming against Bismarck High. That will go against Darren Johnson.
And then Bismarck's shooting percentage has continued to drop throughout the course of this game. The Demons started 40% first quarter. They were down to 30 in the 30s. Now they're down to about a quarter. 26% they're shooting from the field for the ball game.
Christofferson out high, and a steal by Johnson. Really anticipated nicely. Beats Christofferson down, and beautiful spin. Johnson finishing, as some players haven't been able to do for the Demons so far, but Johnson with the nice reverse.
We talked last night in the West Fargo Century game about in a close game, you need a kid maybe to step up, make something happen. And Darren Johnson doing something here early in the fourth quarter.
Bismarck within a point. Heinze now driving, dishing it back out. Clement nearly lost it. North led 27-21 at one point, but it's been a 7-2 run. Clement shot didn't even hit the iron, and Murray clears the rebound for Bismarck High, and the Demons can take the lead. Feeney directing traffic out on top, indeed the quarterback.
In every sense of the word.
Yes. Peterson now, strong drive and a blocking foul as he made his way to the baseline. It'll go against Heinze, his second.
In case you're wondering, here in the fourth quarter, the team foul situation, that's now 4 for the Spartans, 3 for the Demons, so both teams a couple fouls away from heading to the free throw line.
Johnson out high off the inbounds. Peterson this time watched by Clement. There's Murray, a double team there, kicks it back out. Bearstail gets by a defender. Oh, he altered his shot nicely. Beautiful ball control by Joel Bearstail, and Bismarck has a 30-29 lead.
Dan, if you haven't seen Bismarck play much this year, you watched them last night, then watched them tonight. You see the real Joe Bearstail tonight, offensively speaking. He's really doing the job with the ball tonight.
Ray Callahan wants a timeout. We'll be back to the Fargo Dome right after this. Well, North has had the momentum for quite a while up until the last few minutes as Bismarck High on a 9-2 run, and the Demons have captured the lead at 30-29.
And during that timeout, Ray Callahan told his team,
And Fargo North commits the turnover off the inbounds. Christopherson was looking for Heinze flying to the hole.
Danny told the guys, try to drive. Don't settle for perimeter shots. Let's try to get it inside, make something happen in close.
Steal by Osborne. He might go to the hole. He does. It rolls off. Quickly back comes Peterson. Went off his hand for a second. He regains control. He's double teamed in the corner. North looks like it's put more pressure on the ball now, as it did yesterday in the late stages against Minot. Now they back off a little bit defensively. Men's basketball, the final score from Vermilion. NDSU 75, Mesa State 65 in overtime. The Bison will play for a possible trip to the Elite Eight tomorrow night. Here's Murray. And the NDSU women beat Augustana 82-59. They're in the regional championship game. Sioux men and women play a little bit later. We're down to 4.5 minutes to play. Pass is picked off by Clement. Ahead to Heinze. He spots up. It's a three-point attempt that's short, and Bears Tail skies for the rebound. And Bismarck wants a timeout, and they get it. It's going to be a great finish. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. Welcome back at the Fargo Dome, where Bismarck High has taken the lead, and Fargo North is in a major scoring drought here, Ed. They scored just a couple of minutes into the third quarter. So they've gone upwards of 8 minutes without scoring in this game.
A little bit of that's cold shooting, a little bit of it is Bismarck's fine defense. Demons talked about clearing the lane for Dan Murray, letting him go one-on-one in that break.
Murray had the opportunity, missed it, and Mayhus has the rebound. And now all of a sudden, this game, which has gotten to be a more deliberate game, possessions mean so much at this stage of the game. Heinze way out on top. Picked up his dribble. He's in trouble. Desperation pass. Osborne has it. Down to 3.5 to play. Bismarck 30, North 29. Clement's shot is blocked. Kevin Feeney got a hand on it.
And Murray had Darren Johnson streaking down the court, but a couple of North players got right in his face, couldn't get it down to him.
Joe Bearstail minutes ago giving Bismarck the lead. Whistle there now as Johnson made his way to the hole, and he was fouled by Clement. North's last bucket came with 4:43 to play in the third quarter.
Right now we have 3:05 left in the fourth quarter, so you're talking well over a quarter since North has last scored a basket.
Team foul situation, 5 on Fargo North, 3 on Bismarck High. Peterson kicks it back out, now Murray. Johnson moves around one defender, then turns it back out. Moves inside over 2 defenders, and he has it. Johnson with a key bucket, and it's a 3-point lead with 2:39 to play.
I've got a feeling that was one of those plays where Coach Miller probably said, no, no, no. Yeah, nice shot, because Johnson took it right at 2 or 3 Spartans down low.
North has not had a lot of success from the 3-point arc tonight, hitting just 2 of them. Clement nearly has it taken away. Now Osborne, he finally gets a look at the 3, pulls it outside for Clement. Holy cow, he hits it, and we're tied at 32.
Clement now with 15 points, Dan. He is the game's leading scorer, and we talked about it earlier, but he has done a good job picking it up tonight offensively for the Spartans.
The scoring drought ends. Peterson now. Nice dish to Murray. He has it blocked, but he's fouled. Dan Murray will go to the free throw line for a couple.
The penetration by Shannon Peterson creating the opportunity. Great job by Shannon beating his man off the dribble. Murray, good free throw shooter, will head there for a couple.
Murray averaging 17 a game. He had 19 points and 5 rebounds in Bismarck's win over Grand Forks Central yesterday. And the Demons have the lead back. Ray Callahan wants to try to freeze Murray on the tail end of this 1-and-1. There's a timeout. You see the score, and we'll be back right after this. It's a pretty tense finish here at the Fargo Dome, except for that youngster. He's still cool, calm, and collect.
He's looking the wrong way. During that timeout, Dan, Bismarck was very adamant, do not give North a three-pointer. We just saw Chris Clement knock one down. Ray Callahan said after the free throw, press, and Bismarck Steve Miller said get it in quick if North should happen to score, because they will be pressing.
Well, the timeout didn't ice Murray at all. He knocks down the tail end of that 1-and-1 opportunity. At 1:41 to play. Bismarck 34, North 32. Osborne with just 2 points has not scored since the early stages of this game. Heinze had to save that. Back out to Osborne. Osborne spots up, gets an opportunity, cannot knock it down. Heinze scrambles and corrals the loose ball. Nearly stolen away. Oh, Bearstail picks his pocket. What a defensive play by Joe Bearstail.
Quick hands by Joe Bearstail, just snatched it away.
1 minute to play. A near steal, and it is by Osborne. Spots up, takes the three. Can't get it. And now a foul as North went for the steal. Osborne thought about driving to the hoop and creating something there, had a second thought, pulled it back for the three. And yesterday, in that situation, he hit the crucial three that put North up for the first time, but he couldn't knock this one down.
You talk about quick hands, we saw 2 sets of them. Bearstail with a great play. Demons coming back the other way. Osborne with a great play to get the steal as well. And you can tell, though, Osborne, it's a close game. He's the go-to guy for North, and he's trying to make something happen, pulling up for that three-pointer.
Peterson hasn't scored since the second quarter. Key free throw. Four-point Bismarck lead with 52 seconds to play. And the Demons have knocked down their 4 free throw attempts in the late stages of this game. A couple by Murray and a couple by Peterson. I think both teams thought there was going to be a timeout on the court. For some reason, everybody got up ready to go to the huddle, but play continues.
Got a situation here. Dan Clement has had the hot hand for North, but I still think you've got to try to make something happen for Osborne. Maybe get him to the basket, get a conventional.
Heinze has the three, and North is back within one with 28 seconds to play. Bearstail almost got around Chambon. He pretty much had to foul him there, or else Bearstail had an uncontested layup.
Surprise, surprise, it will come down to free throw shooting.
Bearstail goes to the free throw line with 22.3 seconds to play. A 1-point Bismarck lead.
And Bearstail did the right thing in that situation. Yeah, you're up one, only 22 seconds on the clock. But when he had a 2-on-1, he had an easy bucket. As you said, you got to take it to the basket if you can get an easy 2.
Ray Callahan right there wanting a timeout. And Ray and his staff will talk over the ifs and the buts of, depending upon what happens with Joe Bearstail at the free throw line.
Anything.
Call him out. Guy gets away from the foul.
All right, now listen. If they score and they get ahead, we're bringing it down the floor fast. Kevin, don't turn and look first, though. Don't turn and run. Just catch it, and we're going down the floor to the basket. If they ever get ahead. All right, now, we're going to go into 10 defense. All right? Make it or miss it, we're 10. Allow one shot. And take away penetration.
Okay, listen. Slam this shoot. All right. No matter what they run, if they run 3-2 zone or man-to-man, we line up in this set right here. Clem, you got to recognize, okay? If it's zone, we're just going to move and try to get a shot right away with 2 posts. Pitch it in and out. Otherwise, we're running this. Double screen down honesty right here. And double. Get a good set. Go there. Get the board. Go. We got a foul. Whoever gets the ball.
22 seconds to play. Bismarck 36, North 35. Joe Bearstail goes to the free throw line. Bismarck obviously in the bonus. They've only committed 3 team fouls, so they have a few to give. Cannot get the free throw. North could tie with a 2, take the lead with a 2 rather. There's 1 foul. Comes with 11 seconds left. North fans celebrate, but obviously they're not aware of the team foul
looking at the
situation.
clock. That's just 4 on the Demons, so they've got a couple more to give.
Steve Miller, as you can see right there, wants a timeout and talk about what his team needs to do with the last 11 seconds to play.
Have Clem be down and have Clem come off the pitch so he can take it one on. You're going to be all over Dean and Augie. Oh, wait, we only need one. We only need a 2 point.
Lance, get in.
One of the boys hard guys because they miss us. We need to win on.
We're running.
And foul.
We're running Duke. Ozzy right here, right?
Where's the ball?
Goes there. Ozzy right there. Clemmer right here. Daniel taking the ball out of bounds. Ozzy take the ball out of bounds. Stay there. Here, double kick down for Clem.
Front on the guy. Let's get run a start.
Dan, you really can't underestimate the importance of Bismarck High right now having 4 fouls, only 11 seconds on the clock. They can really play some aggressive defense. They've got 2 to give, so it's a great situation for the Demons.
It's a luxury right now for Bismarck High, nursing a 1-point lead and 11.9 seconds left. North! Oh, they barely got that timeout called. They had a heck of a time with the inbounds play.
Come on now, listen, Lance. You're on this side. Okay, now we're this way again. You're on this side, Lance. He's going to set a pick for you. After you double kick down, and you're going to go there. And we're looking for that lob.
Well, if they happen to score, we're going to bring it down hard on transition.
Jump stop and score.
Jump stop and score.
Run the lane.
Okay? Hey, we're okay. Now, the first shot won't beat you. It'll be what?
Second one that will.
Who wants it? We do. That's exactly what it's all about. All right, go.
12 seconds. Wait, so we can get this here. Catch and shoot.
We've played 31 minutes and 49 seconds, but it's the final 11 that holds the game in balance. Bismarck 36, North 35. Lob to Shambaugh, but it's thrown out of bounds.
And off the inbounds, that's exactly what you heard Ray Callahan talking about, the lob inside off that double screen.
But Osborne just threw it across the entire court.
He threw it across the court, but it really didn't look like it was as open as I think North thought it might have been in that situation.
North will foul right away here now, because even if Bismarck would convert 2, the Spartans would have a chance to tie. They're down by 1.
Okay, another big stat here, too. Timeouts left. The Spartans down to 0, and Bismarck with 2. Now the Demons have some time to get in their best free throw shooters and draw up an inbounds play.
Well, it's the play that the Spartans wanted. It was just a matter of not executing it.
That's exactly what the case was. And
All right, here's what we're going to do. Kevin's going to take it out. Stack it.
Very uncharacteristic, a guy like Chris Osborne, who normally handles the ball very well, just heaved it way too far into the far corner.
All right, that's right. Joe, you go, run right around the horn and go this way. All right? TJ, you're going to go this way. Pete, you go this way.
You have to foul on the catch. You have to foul on the catch. We get it out and get it down the floor. Now, they got fouls to give, see, so you're going to have to really go hard. Try to get it to Dane or Clem so you can dribble away from them, and you got to shoot it or bars. Okay, make a play. Let's go. Let's make plays. Make a play.
You know, this is far from a hopeless situation for North. 11.9 seconds left. You heard the coach say, foul him as soon as he touches the ball, and the Demons have to make their free throws is what it boils down to.
That's
right
what
here.
It's going to come down to, no doubt about it. It's just a matter of who will go to the free throw line.
And again, if the Demons make both of them.
Oh, it's a 2-on-1. Bears tail. His pass is deflected out of bounds, and it cost the Spartans 2 seconds, but Bismarck almost had an easy one. Out on top, Peterson. They're playing keep away down to 6 seconds. And finally, the foul out on Murray comes with 4.6 seconds. But 7 costly seconds have gone off the clock since Bismarck's original inbounds pass.
Now you're in a situation for North. Whether Bismarck makes 0 free throws, 1 or 2, they will have a chance to tie it. But yeah, 4.5 seconds isn't much time to get the ball down the floor and get a good look at a basket.
And again, Bismarck has fouls to give.
Fouls to give, very key. 2 fouls to give the Demons have.
Murray knocks down the free throw. The Demons are 5 of 6 from the free throw line here late in the 4th quarter. Second one rolls out, battle for it, Shambaugh. A three-pointer would win it. Marsden at the buzzer, no! Bismarck High is going to the state championship game. The Demons hang on and win 37-35.
Dan, I'm not sure, but the guys had a chance to foul Marsden way back here near half court because he ended up getting a very good look at the bucket, but the guys had a chance to foul him. Again, we mentioned they had 2 to give, but they didn't get it. Didn't do it.
39-35. Fargo North scoring just 6 points in the final 12 minutes of basketball.
Yeah, and obviously that is a key point when you're talking about Fargo North. Inability to score some buckets down the stretch in this game. Let's send it over to John Hegry with Steve Miller.
Thanks a lot, Ed. Coach, right down to the wire. You got to feel pretty happy about that one.
Well, we played defense the second half.
Yeah, right.
And that's what I told you we had to do. And our kids understand what needs to be done. We just don't always do it. And I guess that's maybe because they're high school kids. And I don't know if it's any different at the college level. But we got through it.
Last second shot there, you miss a free throw, they have a chance. I mean, that's how close this game was back and forth throughout.
Well, I think when you got 2 evenly matched teams, that's what's going to happen. And I think, you know, hey, turn on the TV the rest of March, and you're going to see some last-second shots like that where teams get beat. That shot looked right on line to me, and my heart just went right down to my toes and right back up like a pinball.
Yeah, you were headed to the locker room. I had to almost pull you out of the tunnel there.
Well, I'm excited for the kids. You know, this is just a tremendous group of kids, and